All right, welcome to another segment of A Moment with Mom. I am so excited about our guest today. We have Miss Kelli Gooch and her daughter Taylor. We're so excited. Thank you guys for joining us. I cannot wait to get into your story. We had a few technical difficulties earlier, but we're just pushing on through.
Oh yeah.
So Kelli, tell me a little bit about your family.
I have, of course, here with me Taylor, who just turned 18.
Congrats, happy
And I
birthday!
know, right? Big
That's awesome.
step. And she's also going through graduation soon. Of course, it's probably gonna look a little bit different, but that's happening
I'm
in June.
sure. Oh
I
my
have
gosh, how exciting.
so exciting it is. And I have a 6-year-old named Ella who absolutely adores Taylor,
Awesome.
as well as a husband who's working right now. He's
Nice.
essential, so yeah,
That's a
no breaks for
blessing.
him.
That's a blessing.
Oh yeah.
Being able to work right now for sure. Well, okay, so where's Taylor go to school?
Taylor goes to school at Humboldt Junior Senior High.
Awesome.
Oh
Strawberry
yeah.
Festival. Man, I'm missing the strawberry festival. Oh,
We
it's killing
all
me.
are like, who? Oh,
Oh,
we did not get a funnel cake, and it's just.
I know. Oh, it's absolutely I love it's something I've always looked forward to and I've participated in many, many, many times.
Oh yeah, us too.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Taylor's diagnosis.
So Taylor was an at birth. I received a diagnosis at birth when
Okay.
I know I was 22 when I had Taylor, and
Wow.
I had no idea that she had Down syndrome. I
Yeah.
had a typical pregnancy, and so
Gotcha.
what she's gonna do with my earphones.
It's all good. She's got a great shirt on. It don't matter.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I had a pretty much routine pregnancy. I had some preeclampsia, but other than that, I had no idea that she had Down syndrome. And so one day I started having contractions, and I had to have an emergency C-section, and that's when I got
Wow.
the diagnosis. So there was no prep there whatsoever. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, I tested negative for what's called at the time alpha fetal protein test.
Okay.
I tested negative for that. That shows like markers or whatever for Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Tested negative for that. So, like I said, it was a complete surprise to me, the Down syndrome diagnosis. And the first year was hard because I wasn't prepared, you
Right.
know.
Right.
But after that, we got awesome services through really
Hey.
through TEIS and all those infant stimulation, all those great early intervention services that
Yeah.
really, really help guide us through the process of like just getting her a good start.
Hmm.
So yeah, since then, we've been doing pretty good. Around the age of 15, 16, she
Hmm.
received an autism diagnosis.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Okay.
what happened was, when she was younger, I noticed differences between her Down syndrome peers
Uh-huh.
and her own behavior. And so at the time, this was again a long time ago, I went to the
Right.
doctor and expressed my concerns, and he just, kind of expressed to me that, oh, there's no such thing as a dual diagnosis. Well, back then there wasn't. And so I remember one year at camp, two of her camp teachers just approached me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought that Taylor might need to be tested for autism?" And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Yeah." And so eventually ended up with a neurologist who kind of confirmed, yeah, I think it's appropriate for her to have both diagnoses. And to me, it was very important because it changed like the structure of her IEP and like what our goals are going to look like.
Gotcha.
So that was really important for us to, just get clarification just so we what we
Yeah. So you
know what
pretty
we
much already suspected it. Yeah. But then
yeah.
but at birth, that's a total surprise. So tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about when you were first told. So was it the moment you gave birth and then like the doctors came back in? What was that
Well, when
process?
I gave birth, she actually, of course, I had an emergency C-section, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know, know what that feels like, but you're kind of like,
No,
well,
not a kid.
yeah,
Don't have any kids. I have a fur baby and she might walk around from time to time, a little tiny dog, but
that's hilarious. That's okay. But
yeah.
you're medicated after a C-section, and so I can just remember like being out of it and being told that, hey, her heart has stopped. her heart stopped beating like 3 times.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
my mom came in and she was like, hey, they've got to take her to Vanderbilt because something's wrong with her heart. So that's all I knew at the time. But
Oh
my
my goodness.
mom was an educator for 43 years, and she in
Yeah.
special education. She started off in special education.
Oh
So
wow. That's a blessing.
she knew, yeah, absolutely. It really was. But she knew that something was wrong, or something
Gotcha.
wrong, or something was different, I should say. And so Taylor spent some time at Vanderbilt, and that's when we got the phone call about the what are you doing with it? This is not a
I
necklace.
think I think this looks like a necklace. Are you trying to match necklaces with me, Taylor?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What you trying to do?
That's hilarious.
Whatever you do,
So
it's gonna look cooler than me. So
So she went to Vanderbilt and stayed there for
gotcha.
several days. And then I got the call about the Down syndrome diagnosis. And
Uh-huh.
then I got another call saying, hey, she's got hypothyroidism. And I'm like way overwhelmed. Because
Oh
again,
gosh. Yeah.
I'm 22, just graduated from college, and I
Oh
didn't
my
know about
gosh.
any of that at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, again, it was rough in the beginning,
Yeah.
but I'm very grateful for the supports I had at that time and still have.
Yeah.
It really does take a village,
Mhm.
especially I feel like in the disability community as a parent, like you need those support. Like you have to have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I've seen. I'm just new to the Star Center, so and they have some different groups and stuff, but what I've seen is like it really is a community. Everyone is
Mhm.
there to support one another, and it's so important to know that you're not alone in the process.
Absolutely.
Which I'm
Absolutely.
excited about the Facebook group that we're going to get started for the
Yes.
moms. I think that'll be great. We're going to call
Yes.
it the Mom Council or something, or Mothers Advisory Council or something like that. We'll make it fancy
Yeah.
and cool sounding. Well, that's it, yeah. It sounds like it was really challenging in the beginning, especially not being prepared and not understanding. Because I feel like now there's so many different things you can do
Yes.
to prepare
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everything.
There was no Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, which can be a good or a bad thing.
Right, right, correct, correct. There was no social media. And so,
Yeah,
like, who do you talk to?
yeah, yeah.
you
That's
know?
tough. Well, so tell me about, you said your mom was a special educations
Mhm.
teacher for a while. So did she really help you kind of like understand like treatments and different therapies and stuff and things to like what like look out for?
Absolutely. Like, she was a soldier. Like, she knew IEPs from head to toe. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
she would go and help me create IEPs. Of course, it's a team thing, but
Mhm.
she just always helped me advocate. She just had a love for education.
That's awesome.
And so she's retired now, of course, but she loved special education and education in general. She ended up being a principal, assistant
Oh
superintendent. Yeah,
wow.
so she dedicated
That's
her whole life to
awesome.
education. I know
That's
it's like,
awesome.
just I just felt so blessed to have her in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. My father's a teacher, so I know what it takes to be
Oh
a
yeah.
teacher, and he is amazing. So, okay, for those that are watching, they may not know what an IEP is or even the process. Can you kind of elaborate on like what you had to go through?
Yeah, just in the beginning, to me, it's a team decision where you set goals that are specific for your child. And for Taylor, her IEP may not look like anybody else's IEP. And so for her, in my opinion, it's just a individualized plan to help her succeed and even defining success.
Hmm.
Because in my opinion, what are you doing with that? In my opinion, success looks different for every child.
Right.
I don't know,
Right.
baby. You know?
Yeah. So that's helpful because again, when I came in, I came from a for-profit world to nonprofit, and I was like, what are there's so many acronyms, IEP. I'm like CRP because we're a community rehabilitation
Oh,
center.
okay.
So I was like, I'm trying to catch up. So thank you for explaining that because you may say it and it seems like it's just normal jargon, but it's
Absolutely.
helpful for especially like moms that maybe are just recently getting a diagnosis and they're like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, what do I have to
Right.
do? So that's super helpful. So she's about to graduate. Do you have plans or ideas or what you're wanting to do?
She's gonna go to school more. We're focusing on just activities of daily living right now. I
Yeah.
want her to
Yeah.
be as independent as possible. And
That's
she has
awesome.
strived to be independent too, don't you?
She's like, yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. She gave me that
absolutely.
eyebrow and it was like a solid.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Taylor, is considered nonverbal, but her face, like, she serves the best face whatsoever. She can
Um,
express herself with
yeah.
her eyes.
Oh, I could tell. I saw it. I saw the sass that she gave. Even
Oh
over
my
virtual interview, she's already throwing me the sass. I love it.
god. Right.
So, what was one of the most challenging things? Like maybe it was in the earlier years, or
Mhm.
getting the second diagnosis. What was one of the most challenging things that you've kind of been through?
I think the one of the most challenging things, just as a special needs parent in general, is the comparison. I don't know if you ever stop that this is like the what is and what your heart really secretly wants to be. For
Yeah,
instance, with her turning 18, in my heart of hearts, I would love for her to like go to college. I love to help her pack. I love for her to,
yeah,
to choose colleges, but that's not our reality. And so you really have to try hard, like not to compare.
mhm,
She's beautiful just like she is. And as long as she's happy, I'm happy.
mhm,
But as a mom, there's always in the back of your mind like this little comparison thing. And I think that's a major battle with special needs parents sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I'm sure just being a mom in general, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's helpful to know. And I was on an interview previously, and it's like you always know that this person is unique,
Hmm.
completely unique, completely different scenarios. Whatever it is, it's unique, and it's going to be perfect for whatever you guys end up doing. So,
Absolutely.
what's been one of the most rewarding things through being a mom of a child with a disability?
I think that's just the love that I get every day. Besides side eye, I do get a lot of love and just genuine, like learning to appreciate her uniqueness, and
Hmm.
most of all, learning how to celebrate the little things. I'm going to
Yeah,
tell you, we as special needs parents like can hugely celebrate just little gains. Since we've
yeah.
been in quarantine, she's Taylor started doing more signs. Like she's becoming more vocal, and so that's
Wow.
huge for us. It's like let's go
Yeah.
celebrate.
Come
Go
on.
get some ice cream or something.
Yes.
So
That's
just
awesome.
learning to love the little things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So what's yeah, I don't know if you've gone out yet since all this quarantine stuff, but I hope that when you can go out, especially for graduation, because that's a huge
Yes.
celebration that y'all celebrate all the time. I love it.
Oh,
I always try to find a way to celebrate something because I feel like
uh-huh.
life is such a gift. It's such
Absolutely.
a gift. Um,
Absolutely.
so, what is some advice that you would give to a mom that maybe has just received a diagnosis and has no idea how to move forward with the future?
Mhm. My advice would be one day at a time. Don't compare, and it will be okay.
Good. That's awesome. Thank you. Well, I want to read off your nomination. So,
Come on.
those, if you're wondering, like, well, how did you get Well, she was nominated for the Star Mom of the Year award. Every single mother that was nominated was
Oh,
absolutely
I bet.
phenomenal. I
I
mean,
bet.
just the stories and the testimonies that they gave were great. But this one's really great. And she actually has no idea who
No.
nominated her. So, let me just make sure I got this right before I tell you who nominated.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was making sure I read it correctly. Okay. So who nominated you was Monica Taylor.
Oh, Monica.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sweet. Thank
So
you.
yeah. So I'll make sure that I tag her
Okay.
in the comments for sure. I love Monica. She's amazing.
Yes.
I met her through Stephanie Riley. And
Uh-huh.
so y'all work at B3 together?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Yeah. I used to work with Stephanie at Younger Associates, and
Oh,
Stephanie is a good friend
cool.
of mine. So, yeah, so I'm excited. Okay, so let me read. So, for those of you who don't know, that each nominator had to write how the nominee was patient. And hello, Ella, in the back. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
it's going to be noticed today.
I
I
love
love
it. She's
it.
like, let me just slide in. Um,
That's it.
how each nominee was patient, courageous, and selfless. And so they had, 300 words to write up to it. So
Mhm.
I want to read off these to you. I think it's really important to know that, like, I can already tell you're an incredible mom, but there are
Aw,
so
thank
many
you.
people that know that you're an incredible mom and just know that you have an added level of difficulty. in general, because you have to be constantly
Mhm,
adapting and an advocate. And I think it is
mhm,
so powerful what you're doing as mom. But
mhm.
I do want to
Thank
read this
you.
off for you.
Mm,
So she put, Kelly endures
mhm,
difficult circumstances like no other. Situations that might be considered embarrassing, unacceptable, or even hard
mhm.
to swallow, like a champ. I remember
Aw.
seeing her on the hall of our church trying to convince Taylor to go into her small group. I was late, so I assumed she was late too, but she still greeted me with a smile and never lost her cool. I asked her about it later, and she was so candid about it. Any other mom would have totally lost their faces in the spot. She never responded in annoyance or anger. In the contrary, she just showed cheer and joy.
Aw. Oh my
So
God.
that's how she said you're patient and then courageous. I love this. It takes a lot of courage to do a lot of things. And Kelly is not the type of person to back down to any of it. It takes courage to start a business in addition to your full time job in order to help provide for your special needs child, even after you are gone. It takes courage to fight for your child and make sure that you are their number one advocate, even if that might mean disagreeing with someone you respect. It takes courage to start every day knowing it could be an easier one or one filled with challenges. Kelly is courageous, but you'd never really know it. Why? Because she just does. She does all the things she has to do with no complaints, with no weariness, never drawing attention to the things that she has accomplished. She shows, this is making me like tear up.
Yes.
She shows her daughters each and every day what courage is, and they are both better by having her in their lives. I
Aw.
love it. And I'm not even done. She wrote about how you're selfless. So this is what Monica said about you being selfless. Everything Kelly writes or posts is related with her daughters. She's an advocate for her daughter and tries to reach out to other people who might share her situation. Not necessary to vent or complain or how the world isn't ready for Taylor, but to let them know they aren't alone. It is never about her, ever, with like an exclamation point. No single conversation is about her, and it is always about her girls and how her family is doing. The struggle is real, but she loves it,
Yeah.
and she wouldn't have it any other way.
No. That describes it.
So
Oh my
that's how Monica described you. And I can
God.
tell just through this short interview that everything she said is true. And I see your girls there, and I'm sure y'all love each other. Ella, how much do you love your mom?
Um, 1,001,195,68.
Wow, I think you have a future mathematician in our hands.
Oh yeah. About the
So
math.
and if you were to yeah, how awesome your mom is, like what's the scale you would give me 1 to 10? She's a 10 for sure.
100.
100, 100 out of 1 out of 10. I love it.
That's
Well,
so funny.
Kelly, is there anything else that you would like to share? It could be an encouragement or anything you want to share to any of these moms.
Oh, I just think it's awesome that the Star Center chose to do this because a lot of times as special needs moms, we kind of hide, like we just go, we do, we act, and we don't really think. And for you guys just to take the time out and say, hey, we see you, I think that is absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to say thanks. And like, I'm honored. It's an
Oh,
honor and a blessing to be a mother.
well, thank you. That's exactly why we wanted to do it, because we feel like you guys are constantly doing it in the background, the unsung heroes, like driving them to and from therapies and taking care of your
Mhm.
jobs and everything. So I just want to thank you for being such a beacon
Oh,
for
thank
moms
you.
of children with disabilities. So I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
And this love sesh, man, y'all are killing me.
So much going on.
I love it. I love it. Well,
So
thank
much.
you so, so much. I have absolutely enjoyed talking
Oh,
with
thank
you.
you.
And thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm sure we'll be in touch. I'll get you added to that Facebook group soon.
Thank
Um,
you.
so it's good. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.
Can you say bye?
Bye-bye.
She's waving.
Yeah, and happy graduation. You can give me the eyebrow
Oh.
wave. There it is. All right. Thank you so much, Kelly. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye bye.